When security tried to remove a homeless man from a luxury restaurant, one unexpected hero stepped in, changing everything with a simple act of kindness. What happened next will restore your faith in humanity. What happened next will leave you speechless. Don't miss this powerful story. Watch until the end. And if it moved you, subscribe and drop a comment below, telling us, where in the world are you watching from? The cold night air bit sharply as Sam huddled on the sidewalk outside the glimmering facade of Le Chateau, one of the city's most prestigious luxury restaurants. A soft haze of mist curled around the ornate gold-trimmed windows, which showcased an opulent world inside, a stark contrast to the biting chill Sam endured. Wrapped in a threadbare coat that had seen better days, Sam's hands trembled slightly as he clasped them together, trying to hold on to what little warmth he had. His worn shoes had holes in the soles, letting the cold ground creep in, but he sat quietly, careful not to disturb the flow of the night's high society. From his vantage point by the entrance, he could see the elegant diners inside, women in flowing gowns, men in tailored suits, champagne glasses shimmering under soft chandeliers. Laughter and clinking silverware filled the air behind the thick glass, painting a picture of comfort and celebration. For Sam, that world was one he had long been excluded from, not by choice but by circumstance. He wasn't asking for charity. Sam just needed a moment of respite. The restaurant steps offered a dry place to sit, and the glow from inside provided a small comfort against the overwhelming darkness of the street. But tonight, his presence did not go unnoticed. A man in a sharply pressed uniform, the restaurant's head of security, stepped out from the shadows. His name was Greg, known for his no-nonsense approach and strict enforcement of the restaurant's private property rules. He scanned the area, his gaze locking on Sam immediately. "Hey you," Greg called out, his voice low but firm. "You can't stay here." Sam looked up slowly, meeting the guard's eyes with a calm that came from years of enduring rejection. "I'm not causing any trouble," he said quietly. "Just sitting." Greg's jaw tightened. "This isn't a park bench or a shelter. This is a luxury restaurant entrance. You're making customers uncomfortable." Sam shifted slightly, preparing to stand and move on, not wanting to escalate the situation. But there was nowhere warm to go, no bed to sleep in, just the unforgiving cold waiting outside. "Please," Sam said softly, "I just need a moment. I won't bother anyone." But Greg shook his head. "Rules are rules. You have to leave." Sam sighed, shoulders slumping as he stood slowly, the weight of invisible chains pressing down on him. He turned away, ready to disappear into the night, another face lost in the city's shadow. At that moment, the restaurant's front door swung open, and a figure stepped out. The man was instantly recognizable, Keanu Reeves, casually dressed but carrying an unmistakable air of calm and kindness. His eyes quickly took in the scene before him. Keanu's voice cut through the tense air, gentle but unmistakably firm. "Wait a minute." Greg turned toward him, surprise flickering across his face. "This is a private property," Greg began, his tone defensive. Keanu raised a hand slightly, signaling him to stop. "Let the man stay." A hush fell over the small crowd gathering nearby. Diners peeking through the windows, passers-by, and even the restaurant staff stopped to watch this unexpected confrontation. Greg hesitated, clearly uncomfortable but unwilling to argue with a celebrity in such a public moment. "Sir, I'm just doing my job." Keanu took a step closer to Sam, lowering his voice so only those nearby could hear. "Everyone deserves kindness." Sam looked up, surprise and gratitude mixing in his tired eyes. He hadn't expected anyone to stand up for him, especially not someone like Keanu Reeves, the Hollywood icon known for his humility and generosity. The tension in the air began to dissolve as Keanu motioned toward the entrance. "Come inside." Sam blinked, unsure if he had heard correctly. "Inside." Keanu smiled warmly. "Yes. You're welcome here." Greg finally stepped aside, still watching cautiously, but Keanu's quiet authority left no room for protest. As Sam followed Keanu into the restaurant, the warmth hit him immediately, an enveloping contrast to the cold outside. The rich scent of fine food, polished wood, and fresh flowers filled the air. Crystal glasses sparkled on linen-covered tables, and soft music played from a live pianist in the corner. Guests stole glances, some whispering, others smiling softly, touched by the unexpected sight of a homeless man being led inside by one of the world's most beloved actors. Sam's heart pounded, equal parts nervous and hopeful. For the first time in a long while, he felt seen, not as a problem to be removed, but as a person deserving dignity. Keanu glanced back at him, offering a reassuring nod. "Just relax. Tonight, you're a guest." Sam took a deep breath and allowed himself to believe it, even if just for a moment. The security guard watched silently, his earlier stern demeanor softening as he witnessed a kindness he had never expected to see in his line of work. And so, inside that elegant sanctuary of luxury and light, a simple act of compassion was quietly unfolding, one that would ripple far beyond that cold sidewalk and into the hearts of many. The warmth of the restaurant wrapped around Sam like a soft blanket, a stark contrast to the cold that had bit at his skin just moments before. The faint murmur of conversations, the clinking of fine china, and the subtle melodies from the pianist created an ambience so different from the harshness of the streets. Sam's eyes darted nervously from one finely dressed patron to another, wondering if they were watching him with judgment or sympathy. But Keanu's steady presence by his side gave him a quiet strength to simply be there, to exist in this moment without shame. "Take a seat," Keanu said softly, gesturing toward a reserved table near a corner, away from the main crowd but still in view. The table was impeccably set with white linen, sparkling silverware, and a small vase holding a single fresh rose. The waiter, briefed quietly by a staff member who had just been alerted to the situation, approached with a warm smile. "Good evening, sir," the waiter said politely to Sam. "Welcome to Le Chateau. Can I start you off with something to drink?" Sam blinked, momentarily at a loss for words. He wasn't used to being addressed with such respect. "Water, please," he said finally, his voice low. Keanu nodded approvingly at the waiter and then turned back to Sam. "Anything you want. This is your night." For a moment, the hum of the restaurant faded as Sam allowed himself to soak in the kindness. The gentle glow of the candle on the table flickered softly, and the soft notes of the piano danced through the air. "What's your story?" Keanu asked quietly, not prying but genuinely interested. Sam hesitated. It was not often that strangers asked him about his life with genuine care. For years, he had learned to keep his story locked away, tucked beneath layers of pain and disappointment. But something about Keanu's presence made him want to share. "I lost my job, then my home," Sam began. "I'm just trying to get by day. Keanu nodded slowly, listening intently. "It's tough out there," he said softly. "But you're here now, and that's what matters." A subtle shift happened around the table. The guests nearby, who had initially whispered and exchanged curious glances, began to look on with admiration instead of judgment. Some even raised their glasses in a silent toast to the simple yet profound act of kindness unfolding before them. The waiter returned with a glass of water and a menu, placing them gently in front of Sam. "Please take your time," he said. "Anything you'd like, just let me know." Sam opened the menu hesitantly, marveling at the variety of dishes he'd never dared to imagine tasting again. Seared salmon, filet mignon, fresh salads with exotic ingredients, decadent desserts with rich chocolate and fresh berries. Keanu smiled gently. "What are you in the mood for?" Sam looked up, eyes wide. "I don't know / whatever you recommend." Keanu chuckled softly. "Then let's start with something comforting. How about the soup of the day? It's homemade, and I promise it's delicious." Sam nodded, a faint smile breaking through his worn face. "Thank you." As the evening progressed, the staff took extra care to make Sam feel comfortable. The head chef even came out to greet him, offering a kind word and a promise that his meal would be prepared with care. Keanu stayed by Sam's side, not as a celebrity showing off generosity, but as a friend sharing a quiet moment of humanity. They spoke about simple things, the weather, movies, favorite books, creating a connection that transcended social status or circumstance. Sam found himself laughing softly for the first time in weeks, a sound that felt strange yet freeing. Around them, the restaurant buzzed with its usual elegance, but here, at this small table in the corner, something rare was blossoming, an unspoken lesson in compassion and dignity. As the soup arrived, steaming and fragrant, Sam took a cautious bite. The warmth spread through him, not just from the food, but from the kindness that had brought him here. "Why do you do this?" Sam asked quietly after a moment. Keanu looked thoughtful. "Because it matters." Because kindness is powerful. And sometimes, all it takes to change a person's path is a little light in a dark place. Sam nodded slowly, feeling tears prick the corners of his eyes. He wiped them quickly, embarrassed, but Keanu's understanding smile made it okay to feel. The other diners began to relax, some even applauding softly as they noticed the meal being served. The manager approached the table, his eyes bright with emotion. "If you'll allow me, sir, we'd like to offer you this meal as a gift." Sam was overwhelmed. "I don't know what to say." "No need to say anything," Keanu said gently. "Just enjoy." Outside the window, the city lights flickered, and the cold night seemed a little less harsh. Inside, a humble man who had once been invisible was now at the center of a story of kindness that no one would forget. Greg, the security guard, stood by the entrance, his arms crossed but his eyes softening. He had never seen anything like this before. Maybe there was more to his job than just enforcing rules. Maybe, just maybe, there was room for humanity too. As the meal continued, Keanu leaned in and whispered, "You're not alone." For Sam, those words were a lifeline, a promise that this night was the start of something new. Not just a meal, but hope. And so, in the heart of the city's most exclusive restaurant, amidst crystal glasses and fine linens, a simple act of kindness was changing a life, one small moment at a time. The night at Le Chateau ended, but its ripple effects were only just beginning. After the warmth of the meal and the gentle kindness from Keanu, Sam stepped back out onto the street, but this time, the chill felt different. Less biting, somehow softened by the ember of hope glowing inside him. The city's cold concrete no longer seemed as endless or unforgiving. Keanu watched him for a moment before turning back into the restaurant, a quiet smile on his face. The encounter was simple, but profound. A moment that transcended fame and status. The next morning, news of the incident began to spread. Someone in the restaurant had quietly shared the story and photos with local news and social media. Within hours, the video of Keanu quietly inviting a homeless man inside, and the restaurant staff treating him with dignity and respect, was going viral. "Homeless man welcomed into luxury restaurant by Keanu Reeves," one headline read. Another said, "A star's simple act of kindness changes a life." Sam, still overwhelmed by the attention, tried to stay grounded. He never wanted pity, only respect. But the kindness that had been shown to him was awakening something inside. Suddenly, offers started coming in, not just of meals or clothes, but real help. Local charities and non-profits reached out, eager to support him in finding a job, a place to stay, and access to health services. At Le Chateau, the owners were inspired. The general manager, moved by the story and the public response, gathered the staff the next day. "This," he said, "is what we want to stand for, not just luxury and elegance, but humanity." From that day forward, the restaurant launched a program called Dine with Dignity. Once a month, they would host a night where homeless guests from nearby shelters were invited to enjoy a free, dignified meal. The program quickly gained support from other local businesses and the community. Greg, the security guard who had first tried to remove Sam from the entrance, experienced his own transformation. He started volunteering at local shelters, realizing that his job wasn't just about enforcing rules, it was about protecting people, including those society often ignored. One afternoon, a few weeks later, Sam returned to Le Chateau, not as a guest, but as a volunteer. With the help of the charities connected to him, he was slowly rebuilding his life. His confidence grew with every smile from the staff and every kind word from diners who remembered his story. Keanu visited again, quietly as always, but with that same warmth in his eyes. "How are you doing?" he asked gently. Sam smiled, the kind that reaches deep into the soul. "Better. Thanks to you, and to everyone who showed me kindness." Keanu shook his head humbly. "You did the hard work. I just helped light the way." Their friendship, born of a single moment of compassion, became a symbol of hope in the community. It reminded people that no matter their struggles, they deserved respect and kindness. And the story didn't end there. Inspired by what he had witnessed, Keanu started using his platform to advocate for more inclusive policies and programs for homeless populations across the country. Interviews, charity events, and social media campaigns followed, all with the message that kindness costs nothing but can change everything. Back on the streets where Sam once struggled to survive, a small plaque was installed near the restaurant's entrance. It read, Asterisk here, a simple act of kindness changed a life. May we all remember to see the humanity in every person. Asterisk. Years later, Sam would tell this story to others. How one evening, in the most unlikely place, he was shown that he mattered. That he had value. That he was not invisible. And every time he spoke, the words carry the power to inspire others to look beyond appearances, to act with compassion, and to believe in the power of kindness. Because sometimes, all it takes is one person, one moment, and one choice to change everything. He stays. If this story touched your heart, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because together we can spread kindness and change lives. Don't forget to like and share to inspire others today.